Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you on the Let's Play episode of Conway, Julian's Path. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Now, when you put it like that... No, I think they should be working on... what they should be working on is a way to allow us to put out more sail, or build holes that allow us to cut through the water with more ease. I can certainly understand the reluctance. It is a world with change coming for us all, more visible for some than for others. And for me, well, I am living the change right now. Ships. Not the change I expected. While the two are caught up in their conversation, you slowly drift toward the edge of the deck. The gunwale is still damp beneath your palm, the wood cold and rough to the touch. Below, the faint outlines of waves slip by as the ship glides steadily through the water as you wait for your moment to hopefully pull one of them aside. Who do you want to speak with? But if the two gentlemen would excuse me, it is growing rather late, and I believe it is best for me to retreat to my cabin. I greatly appreciate the time you have taken out of your undoubtedly busy schedule to explain the ship's operation, sir. I will be sure to ask the captain about the chronometer tomorrow, assuming I can catch him during a quiet hour. You watch as the painted dog gives a courteous bow, including you in his goodbyes with a quick, polite nod. At least you won't have to risk appearing rude when asking to speak to Arthur. As Nomak steps away, Arthur shifts, clearly intending to leave as well. You're not sure what compels you to reach out, but your hand catches his arm before you can think better of it. You may return to your duties, Sir, before I do, may I have a moment to talk? He turns to face you fully, and you let go of his cuff, suddenly very aware of your boldness. You know you have to be careful in your position, no matter how much you want an explanation from him. After all, he is still the first mate. There is nothing to talk about, Mr. Kelly. Return to your duties. I wanted to say that I appreciate you allowing me to come along and learn alongside the passenger. And it's no surprise you have such a wealth of knowledge, sir. For a moment, he doesn't respond. Turning to the gunwale, he places both hands on the damp wood, his gaze fixed on the dark expanse of ocean stretching endlessly beyond the ship. You may join the others during the noon navigation lesson next Friday, if you're interested in furthering your learning. But I doubt that's the reason you stopped me, is it? Well, you feel that flicker of tension ripple through you. As familiar as it is unwelcome. The same tension you feel every time you have to face his unyielding demeanor. No, sir. I just don't quite know how to ask. That's because there's nothing for you to ask. As far as I'm concerned, the chapter is closed. All you need to know is that you've been allowed to remain aboard this ship. I've informed the captain of my recommendation. He agreed with my assessment and reinstated you into the crew's planning. The quartermaster has been instructed to ensure your continued pay and provisions. That should be clear enough for you. Or would you disagree? You open your muzzle, but no sound comes out first. The heavy beat of your heart pounds loudly in your chest. With all due respect, sir, I think I would disagree. There it was. The skipping of a heartbeat. Anxiety ratchets up within you as silence stretches between the two of you. You watch the dark shape of his chest rise in a deep breath, appearing as if it is bathed in a subtle, almost otherworldly-seeming blue glow. Summoning every ounce of restraint, you force your voice to remain soft, careful not to let it sound accusatory. Sir, I'm not trying to question your decisions. I want to understand is all. So that I can do better in the future and prove myself as part of this crew. A crew that you can trust, just as you trust Samuel, Conrad, and the others. Trust with your life, as you said. But even now, despite being allowed to stay, I can't help but feel I'm only being tolerated. Sir. Does it come as a surprise that you'll need to earn respect again? It does not, but then surely it is to everyone's advantage if I know what it was that made you... What I did to almost be dismissed from the ship. You fell asleep during your... Sir, that is by no means a punishment fitting for that offense, and you know that just as well. It wasn't your first offense. I didn't cause Samuel's injury. Quite frankly, I'm not concerned with the past in this matter, Mr. Kelly, nor should you be. If you can perform your duties to the standard required of you, then no one will have any complaints. As far as I'm concerned, that is all you need to know. But... This is not a matter for discussion, Mr. Kelly. You swallow hard. The taste of reluctance bitter as you accept that pushing further would be a mistake. He doesn't even look at you. His gaze stays fixed on the dark sea. The blue glow appears to have strengthened by now, and you can see it shift across the firm features of his snout. You take a hesitant step toward the gunwale. The cold wood beneath your paw still wet from the earlier storm. As you step closer to it, you realize the water beneath the ship is not the pitch black you expect it to be. Instead, the sea glows. A soft, brilliant blue shimmer that follows the ship's bow, spreading outward like liquid light. The sight catches your breath. It almost looks like glowing mists, as though the ship itself were floating on clouds of light. You glance toward the stern, where the glow trails in her wake, fading slowly back into the dark. The waves ripple, with it their peaks glinting turquoise like snow-capped mountains. Isn't it beautiful? You try to think of an answer, but the sight has stolen your voice. You can only stare, mesmerized by the ethereal glow spreading across the surface of the ocean. The ship dips between the waves, sending a sudden burst of light from the bow. The water spray catches the glow, shimmering as it arcs through the air, but never quite high enough to reach you. Instead, you feel the cold wetness on your fingers and the salt, heavy air brushing your snout. What in the world? What is happening? I've never seen anything like it. I've witnessed it before, as have many sailors before us. But to tell you the truth, I don't know what it is. On some nights, any disturbance seems to set the water aflame. But why? I couldn't say, lad. Magic? The devil? The spirits of sailors lost at sea? Perhaps King Neptune himself. Who can know for sure? Despite millennia of trying to conquer her, the sea still hides myriads of mysteries from us foolish mariners. Like the stars above, we can observe her waves and marvel at their beauty. We may never know what truly stirs them in the depths below. Others of the crew begin to notice the glow, and soon rugged hands join yours on the gunwale. One by one, the sailors gather to watch the spectacle just as you are. Sir, should we adjust course? You catch the hint of unease in some voices, hushed concerns about superstitions tied to the glowing waters. Did you hear anyone call Ford Mullen? No, sir. There's your answer. But, sir... If you're so desperate for an order, tell the men to calm themselves. Yes, sir. Those more intrigued than startled appear to search for a better vantage point and find their places up in the shrouds. You watch sailors cling to the lines as the ship leans leeward. Some of them are framed by the moon high up in the sky, its bright shine illuminating the edges of the clouds in a faint greenish tint. Just then, a deep shuddering creak rolls to the ship. Something unusual. Ships are alive with sounds like these, but at this moment, the noise sends a cold shiver down your spine and bristles your fur in response. We are safe, right? Arthur returns a confident, if brief nod. As I said, lad, it's not the first time I've passed through burning seas like these. If it were a bad omen, I wouldn't be standing here now, would I? Nor have I found any mention in naval reports that suggest otherwise. My word is not enough to help ease your mind, though they always attribute some meaning to it. A blanket of silence falls over the deck, not a nervous one, but a quiet born of awe. The glow stretches further and further until it seems the entire sea is draped in a soft, radiant blue, like fresh moonlit snow. You take a slow, deep breath, the calm coming from your first mate finally steadying you as well. Whatever this is, if it isn't dangerous, then perhaps you can let yourself enjoy it. If that heavy feeling in your stomach will allow it. A harsher wave strikes the ship, and sends cold, glowing spray across your face. The wind bites as the moisture evaporates, leaving an uncomfortable chill in its wake. Leaning over the gunwale, you peer closer to the ship's side, where the strongest light radiates. The waves in her wake seem almost sculpted, casting long ridges of glowing peaks that stretch into the distance. James? Your ears snap to attention, and you straighten reflexively, pushing yourself upright. Have you thanked him yet? Not yet, sir. I've had to take a little breather, but I plan to. Samuel is too nice for his own good. Just imagine the guts it took to stand up for you. Some landsman who hasn't even made it to his second week. You could have simply ignored it. Would have been the easy way. He'd be gone in a few days, and he can continue as if nothing ever happened. But he confronted me. He barks in a brief laugh. I'll no doubt make sure to thank him, sir. He truly is something else. Ain't he just? And you did nothing wrong, lad. That's what you want to hear, isn't it? Samuel's injury, the crane back in port, and all those things. You did nothing wrong there. Yet I screwed up earlier today. I wouldn't call that nothing, sir. I'd hope you don't think so little of me, or the captain for that matter, to believe we'd assigned you as the only watchman. The other useless idiot happened to not be at his post either. He figured, with a spry and eager landsman sharing his watch, and someone with good vision at night to boot, he could take it easy and spend most of his time inside playing dice. He blinked up at him in disbelief. Looked at me like a kitten who's lost her toy under the bed. He wasn't spared punishment, if that's what you're thinking. A surge of self-awareness washes over you, and you quickly look back out at the ocean. Of course, this doesn't excuse the fact that you did, in fact, fall asleep. For better or worse, that's one of the more lenient offenses. Otherwise, we'd soon have no sailors left at all. But rest assured that I won't be so lenient if it happens again. Understood? For your own sake. Yes, sir. Understood. Good. I know you're an ambitious lad, more than most who start where you are, and the eyesight you felines possess is too valuable to waste on a slovenly sailor. You'll need discipline to match your ambition, and perhaps you'll make something out of yourself yet. There. Are you happy with that? I think so. A sudden gust of wind whips across the deck, ruffling your fur and blowing strands across your eyes. You swipe your paw through it to clear your vision again as you two fall back into a minute-long silence. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my God. That's some this game has such incredible artwork. Lad, that feeling you described earlier when you were laying in the field at night staring at the stars. My first captain that I served under would call moments like the one you experienced Diana. The fool that I am never read the text he got the term from. I was too preoccupied learning from his ability as a mariner to spend my time with anything else, but I hope I understood him correctly. He described it as a moment that allows us to gather ourselves, to return, and be aware of the essence of what we are, even if only briefly. As if for that moment the barrier between us and the world breaks away. For him, it didn't happen under a starry sky. He felt it when standing on deck, just before engaging the enemy. It gave him strength, allowed him to stand unshaken, even amidst the crashing of worlds. The gifted captain that he was. You notice a subtle introspective shift in his tone before he seems to rein it back in with his next words. Perhaps because of it. Perhaps it guided his decision in some way. I'm gonna pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and don't forget to check out our Patreon. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!